Right then guys, here we go. The back 9 from my first round of 2022. Hole 10 here is a par 4, 306 yards, driver in hand, and to be honest, probably should have been looking at more like a 2 or 3 iron on this hole. Course management let me down, I think. Just being a little bit too greedy there with the driver, and we've ended up with an absolutely horrendous lie. I can't actually bring the club back and have to take a very steep angle on it. As you could probably tell, the ball was well below my feet as well, and lucky realistically to get it out. We're off the shot just here to the left hand side, and we're still in that little bit of a gully that you can see. I've got a 9 iron in hand from here, and it ended up being a little bit too much club. Perhaps a pitching wedge would have served us a little bit better. So we take out the gap wedge, and again a fantastic bump and run with that club. It has been our saviour throughout the course of this round, as we just tidy up this hole with a bogey. So moving into the par 5s, we've got back-to-back par 5s in at the Freshwater Bay course. The first one up here on hole 11. Decent drive down the left-hand side. It was only 184 yards though, and that kind of gives us a bit of a conundrum going in. Makes it most definitely a 3-shotter. And try to force a 7 iron here. That's a bit of a collector's item. You won't see me top the ball very often, and that's why I look a little bit dejected with myself. Still sticking with the 7 iron though, because I do believe that was the play. So we bumped that on down 153 yards with the 7 iron, just off to the side of the fairway. We select the 8 iron from here. Got about 130 yards in. Wind's pretty aggressive at this point, and as you can see, it's dragged the shot right to left. Leaves us again with a chip from just off the green side, and again it's the gap wedge in hand. Another decent effort there with the gap wedge. Decided not to carry the camera onto the green here, but instead try to get the close up here in post, and hopefully that comes out okay as we make another bogey. Okay, so moving on to the par 5 12, 499 yards this one, stroke index 2. A particularly difficult hole. We have 2 fairway bunkers which are just over the top of the gorse, and smash one unbelievably well over the top of the bunkers. 208 yards is the drive, so it's not a huge distance, but we were playing into the wind somewhat as well. 3 iron in hand, and it's a bit of a duffed shot there with the 3 iron, and obviously then that leaves us some more work to do. Still went 100 yards, but we pick out the 3 iron again, and unfortunately that we missed that one off camera, but 146 yards that second 3 iron went, so again still not getting the kind of distance we'd like out of it. Bumped in from about 50 yards there with the 56 degree wedge, and once again the gapper's out, and again we've got it up and close to the flag. 1 putt in from here, and it's another bogey on the card. But again, stroke index 2, I'm not too displeased with that, because we do get technically 2 shots on that hole from my 21 handicap. So the 2 iron is out on this occasion as we tee off on the 13th. It's a downhill hole, so you can't really see it from here, and we've ended up short left. It was a 193 yard drive with the 2 iron. We've got 104 yards left in, so pitching wedge in hand. Again, the wind is blowing heavily right to left at this stage, and we've left it a little bit short, so gap wedge out again into the middle of the green, and we managed to save par there. A good chip out from that rough with the gap wedge as we move on to what is supposed to be the easiest hole on the course. Stroke index 18. Well below us is the hole, as you could see from that previous shot that I put up. And we take out the 8 iron. I've been on the green recently with the 8 iron, but today, for whatever reason, we leave it a tad short flip that one in with the 56. Not really getting enough purchase on it. First putt here had a bit too much sauce on it, and as you can see, it did swing right to left as I expected, but we had way too much on it. Missed that one on the way back, and a 3-putt for a double bogey. Another par 3 back to back here is hole 15, 175 yards. I've got the 5-iron in hand and hit an absolute stormer. In the summer, it's actually a 7-iron for me from the normal tees, which are actually at the same point as where we've just taken that shot from, just to the right. As you can see, it is a green in regulation. Got a very difficult putt here. You probably can't see how downhill it is, and that fringe really did have an effect on the line of the putt as well. So we leave it just wide of target, but it is another par and a stabilising one to keep the round moving. Okay, so we join a little bit further down hole 16 because the footage is missing of the drive, which went right, and I've had to take an unplayable here and basically pitch this one out with the 56 degree. Not an ideal shot, and that's gone straight through the back of the green. So now we're playing 4 on this hole. It is a par 4, remember. Gap wedge again, and this time it has slightly let us down. We've left it short. Got the putt lined up here. Miss for the bogey, and unfortunately, again, a bit too much on it. And again, we missed the putt on the way back. Another triple being carded. Okay, so the last par 3 is hole 17 here. 142 yards. Have 7-iron in hand. Hoping to play a little bit of a draw, and unfortunately, my draw evades me on this particular shot, and it stayed right. So we're just off to the right hand side of the green, almost pin high. Chip one in with the 56 degree, which leaves us the chance here for a par, although it is still quite a ways away. And again, we're wide of the target, but at least we're missing on the high side on most of these occasions, and pop that one in for a bogey. So, final hole of the first round of 2022. It's the par 4 18th. Drive is leaking right down towards the tee that we've just been on, and you might not be able to see it in this shot, but I'm in somebody else's divot. I hate these shots. I've got 7-iron in hand, and yeah, not good. We literally punch it maybe, I don't know, 30-40 yards down, take out the 7-iron again, and again it's another poor shot from out the rough. Just got a bit claggy in there because of the weather that we've had recently. So we're in the pit of despair, and I could not hit that shot any better. Pitching wedge out of there, actually gone through the back of the green, so probably should have been the gap wedge, but I'll take the shot with the pitching wedge with the line that I had. 60 degree puts us back onto the green, but can't quite flop it close to the flag. Got the pace right here. Just not quite the right line, but it does leave us with a tap in for another triple. So there we have it, a poor back 9. This round I was hoping to get lower towards the bottom end of the 80s, if I'm being honest, given the way that I've been performing as of late, but I had 3 7s on the card, unfortunately, if we take into account the front 9 as well. So I think it's fair to say there was plenty of positives and negatives to take away from this particular round. I did actually come away from this round feeling very negative, which just goes to show probably the progress that I've made over the course of the last year. Remember, I only started playing golf again around about April last year, and back then I'd have ripped your arm off for a 90, but now my expectations are much, much lower than that. So let's close out with the positives. We scored a 90 with 3 sevens on the cards. Our putting was pretty decent during the course of that round, only 32 putts, but obviously that is skewed somewhat by my pretty decent gap wedge play from the fringe. Having said that, there's still 4 3-putts on there as well. So there's plenty to be optimistic about going into 2022. Wherever possible, I'm going to keep recording these rounds and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. If you are, don't forget to hit that like button down below and also subscribe so that you know when my next content goes online.